Okay, so we're just continuing off with the next episode. I want to keep every episode as short as possible. So right now, what we need to do is we need to update our prefix. I'm not using the command handler, but I don't think this would really change much if we were using a command handler. The only thing that you would have to be careful of is the guild command prefixes, because if you have this in just one file, you need a way for it to be global. And the best way to do that is having an event emitter. But we're going to continue the series, and eventually I'm going to set up a command handler for this entire, for this bot. I'm going to show you guys how to set it up with a command handler. But for now, we're just going to have we're going to do with the basic commands. So we're going to go ahead and do else if message.content.to lowercase. We're going to check to see if the command prefix, okay? And like I said, this prefix is going to be different for every single guild, okay? So this command, we need to make sure that only the owner is using it. Of course, you can limit it to whoever you want, but again, I suggest you don't let moderators or anyone that isn't an owner, which is just one person, don't let anyone else modify your prefixes. Unless if you want to, okay? But we're going to make sure that only the owner can use it. So we're going to do if message.member.id is equal to message.guild.owner.id. If that's true, the owner is trying to invoke that command. And then we're going to go ahead and do something. If the owner isn't using it, then we're just going to say you do not have permission to use that command. Okay. So now if the owner is invoking this command, we're going to go ahead and call our database. We're going to create another query. So we're going to go ahead and do await connection.query. And this time we're going to do an update. So the same way you saw in the last video, how I updated my guild prefix, right? We're going to do the same thing. So we're going to go ahead and say updates. So like I said, this is the statement. It's kind of like a command. Okay, we're saying update. We're going to specify the table name. So guild configurable. Okay, so update guild configurable. Set command prefix. So we're setting the column that we want to change, right? We are updating which column. You can update multiple columns. We're only updating one. So set command prefix. Okay. And we're going to set the command prefix equal to whatever the user passes in. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to expect the user to pass in one argument. So let's do this. Const args equals message.content.split. So we're going to split it by a space. And actually, what I'm going to do is the command name and the prefix, new prefix. So what I'm doing here is I'm destructuring this array, because this at most is always going to be 2, or at most it should always be 2. Okay, so if new prefix, then only we're going to invoke the query. Okay, so if new prefix is a falsy value, right? Because right now what we're doing is we're splitting the content. Okay, we're splitting the content by spaces. So if they only have one argument, then only command name is going to be truthy, and new prefix is going to be undefined. So we're checking to make sure that they actually pass in a prefix. Otherwise, we're just going to say message.channel.send incorrect amount of arguments. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to set the command prefix to whatever they pass in, so new prefix. Okay, and then we're going to specify a condition, so where guild ID, because if you don't specify this condition, it's going to update it for every single guild. So you need to use the where condition. Okay, why don't I show you guys that just an example. Okay, so let's save this. This shouldn't give us any issues. So let's do a select from guilds, select from guild configurable, select all columns from guild configurables. Okay, so let's go ahead and go into our test server. So right now our prefix is a hyphen, so we have to do, so let's say for example, if I try to do exclamation mark, and if I did, what was it? Change prefix, nothing is going to happen, right? Nothing's going to happen. This command will never be invoked. But if I do change prefix, let's say if I just do this, it should say incorrect amount of arguments. But if I do change prefix question mark, okay. So we actually have an error. Let's see. Oh, we actually need to wrap this inside quotation. I keep forgetting that. So it's very strict with using the MySQL library, the MySQL 2 driver. It's not like SQLize, where SQLize takes care of everything for you. But the reason why I didn't want to use SQLize was because I wanted to kind of also introduce like how to actually use SQL statements, because a lot of people use SQLize and you don't actually understand how like the SQL statements work. And I do think it's valuable to understand it. So let's do that. So watch this. If I query our table, notice how it changed it for all of the guilds, and that's not what we want. Now watch this, okay? Right now, our cache has not been updated, right? So our prefix is still hyphen. So if I do hyphen help, it's still gonna work, right? We need to update that. But before we do that, let's fix this part first. So I want to show you that if you don't add the where clause, it's going to update it for every single guild, and you don't want that. So we're gonna do where guild ID equals, and we're gonna do the same thing, message.guild.id. Okay, so this is going to say, hey, look, update the command prefix inside the guild configurable table where the guild ID matches the guild that we're currently in. Okay, so that's going to update it to whatever we specify. Okay, so let's save and let's just watch. So we're going to leave this alone for now. So now if I update the prefix to exclamation mark, okay, we don't get an error, but what happened here? Oh, wait, what's going on? Oh, wait, whoops, it's question mark, sorry. Okay, there we go. So now, see how it changed? Over here, it changed it to an exclamation mark. Before, it was a question mark. Over here, it's an exclamation mark. Okay? Now, cool. So we haven't updated our cache yet. So if I still use question mark help, right, I can't use my new prefix. So we need to update the cache. So what we're going to do after we handle this, well, actually, the first thing we have to do is do a try catch. So try and catch. Because if it doesn't update, then we don't want to update the cache. Okay? So, like I said, if it throws an error, okay, then we do not want to update the cache. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and update the cache. So to do that, we're just going to go ahead and reference guild command prefixes, set message.guild.id, new prefix, and the message.channel.send, updated guild prefix to new prefix. Okay, and like I said, if it fails to update the prefix on the database, it's going to throw an error here. And we're going to send a message. Okay, let's just do failed to update guild prefix to that. Okay, good. All right, so let's try this out. So right now my prefix is, I think, high. Okay, so if I do high change prefix, let's change it to $. Update a guild prefix to $. Okay, so now you can see on the database it is $. And now I can actually use the prefix. Okay, change prefix to, let's do hyphen. Okay, and if I try to use change prefix with the $sign again, it's not going to work because it's not in the cache. We updated the cache, so cool. So now I can do my commands help, and if I try to go inside here, if I do help, it's not going to work. What's my prefix for here? I think it's question mark, right? Now let's change the prefix here. So let's do change prefix. Now if I do change prefix, or wait, help. If I try to use the old one, it doesn't work. And if we look at the database, we can see that we have different prefixes. So isn't that pretty cool? All right, so yeah, so all we've done, just to recap, all we've done in this video was we got the prefix from the user. We made sure that the ID of the member is equal to the ID of the guild owner. Okay, and because obviously you don't want your other members to be changing your prefix. Okay, and so over here we check to see if the new prefix was specified. What we're going to do is we're going to call the database. We're going to update the guild configurable table. We're going to set the prefix to whatever we passed in, and we're going to specify a clause. We're going to check to make sure that we're updating the correct guild. Okay, and then we're going to update the cache so that way we can use our prefix immediately. Okay, so hopefully this all made some sense, and in the next video we will do some more cool stuff. So I'll see you guys in that video. Peace.